Welcome, you beautiful, beautiful level 1 Amara player. You have just arrived on Pandora and are scared, lonely, but excited for what's to come. My name is Moxsy, and I will be the siren voice in your head, your tour guide to level 50, and you don't have anything to worry about. So let's begin. Guys, my name is Moxsy, and we're here with my requested leveling guide. A lot of you have been asking me for this, so I'm super excited to have this ready for you. However, just a few things before we get into this video. I wanted to invite you guys and let you guys know about our Discord server. The Discord server is up and it is running and it is beautiful. If you want to ask me any questions or need advice, the Discord will be a great place for that. Also, we have a trading channel, a channel for you to share your builds and have discussions about builds with other members. We have a partying up channel and we'll be hanging out there in a lot. I'm very excited to have that for you guys today, and if that sounds interesting to you, the link will be in the description and in a pinned comment. Also, the Discord will automatically notify you when I'm streaming and when I've just uploaded. Lastly, I'm still looking for an intro and logo artist, so if you're talented at that, hit me up and I'll be taking any and all submissions. Okay, sorry for the long intro, and let's get right into video. This is my personal leveling guide for Amara, and in my opinion, will allow you the smoothest transitions from early, mid, to late game. Alright, let's begin. So, you're a level 1 player, just started, you got your first skill point. Well, now you're level 3. You got your first skill point, and I know that you want to be doing damage, and I know you want to be doing damage. So we're going to be putting that first point into personal space. Personal space is going to give us bonus damage when we're up close to people, and Amara loves being up close to people, just like me. So first point into personal space, we're going to keep going in personal space and max that out to 3 out of 3. Then, health regen is pretty hard to come by early game, and the fact that Amara has a health regen skill so early on in her tree is a absolute godsend. So our next 2 points we're going to be putting in to clarity. Now you're level 7. You should have just fought your first boss. You have damage and you have health regen, and you are turning into a monster already. But now we're going to get my personal favorite skill, as you all know, Samsara. Samsara is an amazing skill, and once we get it, it can be a real game changer. I forgot to mention we're going to be grabbing Phase Slam as our first action skill. That's what you should grab at level 2. And we'll be using Corrosive as our action skill element. Corrosive does slightly increased damage to health enemies. Not increased, but not as much as fire, but it's good. And then we're going to be using Samsara. So we're going to put 3 points into Samsara, and at this point you'll be level 10. You'll already be able to get up in the faces of people and do a lot of damage, and you'll be healing. Samsara is a tricky skill to use, and once you learn how to use it right, you'll become a powerhouse. It is procced off of how many enemies you hit with your Phase Slam, and Phase Slam is a great skill to be using for it because of its large area of effect. So what you're going to be wanting to do at this level is you're going to be running into large groups with a shotgun, an elemental shotgun if you have one, but it doesn't really matter at this point. And then trying to hit as many enemies as you can with Phase Slam. You're going to be proccing health regen and gun damage, and if you can hit 5 enemies with this one ability, which is kind of hard, but if you can do it, you're going to get 25% of your health regen per second, and 25% increased gun damage. At level 10, this is silly good. However, we're going to be wanting to work our way down to Fracture. So Samsara's duration is only 20 seconds. Phase Slam's cooldown is 35 seconds. So during that off time, we're going to want some more health regen. So we're going to keep going into Clarity until we get to this point. Now we're at this point, you're level 12, and you're going to be grabbing Fracture. Fracture is a line ability that deals damage to enemies that it hits. We're going to grab Fracture, and we're also going to grab Revelation. Unfortunately, the Nova off of Fracture does not proc more stacks of Samsara. So what you're going to be wanting to do while you're running around with Fracture is line up as many enemies as you can and cast it. try for at least two. Two is fine. If you can hit more, that's better, but try to hit as many enemies as you can. This is just a little skill demonstration of what Fracture looks like. So it's great, and it's going to leave this acid pool here, or shock pool, depending on what your element you're using. I would recommend corrosive at this stage. So now you're level 12, and we're going to be grabbing Find Your Center. Now, we're going to be up in a lot of people's faces. We're going to be doing a lot of damage, and we don't have any reload skills. Find Your Center is a great skill. If you're right up in someone's face, you're shooting at them, and you need to reload, you can just punch them, and they will die. Simple as that. Plus, it's a really cool looking skill, and it's fun to use, so you guys should enjoy that. Now that we're at this stage, I would recommend putting 2 points into mindfulness. We don't have something like the Rough Rider yet. So mindfulness is a great skill. We don't need 3 out of 3 into it, just because it's going to be giving us movement speed and shield recharge delay for every time you get shot. Now, this is probably the easiest ability in the game to stack, because you're going to be running at enemies. When they shoot you, they're going to make you more unkillable. So this is great, and the movement speed is going to let us get from enemy to enemy, which is really nice. Also, at this point, at level 13, it became available to me. You're going to want to find a quest called, I'm just gonna warn you, this is this is side quest spoilers. If you don't want to hear this, I'm going to be recommending a gun to pick up from a side quest. You can skip ahead a little bit, and I'll put a marker where you can skip to, but I'm going to be talking a quick bit about a side quest. This side quest is, you're going to want to start the Kill Kilovolt side quest. You should be getting this around level 3. Starting that side quest is going to unlock Meridian Metroplex, where you can pick up the kill bounty to kill Wick and Morty. Yeah, you heard that right. Wick and Morty drop a legendary shotgun called the Furbert. That is an amazing weapon, and if you can grab this gun at level 13, my first time killing them, it dropped for me. It is one of the few loot drops in this game that has a specific enemy to it, so it's easier to farm. If you don't get it your first try, you can keep going on with the game, but if you want to get that gun, it'll carry you to at least level 20 with it. So I recommend getting that. So now that we have our Furbert, we have our movement speed, we have our health regen, we're doing a lot more damage up close. You're level, what, 15 now? Yeah. And at level 15, elemental weapons are going to be start becoming a little bit more abundant. You'll be able to find them easier. But for you, you want to pick up and use any gun you want. You don't want to be restricted to elemental guns yet. And so at this point, if you have elemental weapons that you like using, you can grab Anima. If you don't, and you have some sweet Jacobs pistols, and you kind of want to use any gun that you can find, I would pick up Infusion. We'll just put 1 point into this to start. I know I made a video on Infusion is broken. It is broken, but, I'll have a link to that video if you guys want to check that out, but basically it overrides if we're matching elements. However, at this stage in the game, we're not going to have too many corrosive weapons. We'll probably be trying to stick with shock and fire. So the overriding elements won't help us that much, and it really sucks when you have points into Anima and you're using a gun that doesn't do elemental effect damage. You'll kind of feel like you're just wasting points into Anima. So at least with 1 point into Infusion and points into Anima, you will be, if you get that status effect, you'll be doing more damage with it. So Anima, we're going to grab 3 points into that, and then we're going to grab 2 points into Infusion. Now you're level 20. 20, once again, the weapons that are going to become available to you will become better and better. At level 20, you're most likely about to fight or are going to fight a boss that I will talk about. If you want to skip ahead, I'm just saying the boss name and the gun that he drops. So skip ahead if you'd like. But that boss is Katagawa Jr. I have seen videos that he drops the conference call. I've been told he drops the conference call. I've only gotten the conference call as a world drop, and I farmed Katagawa Jr. a lot, so I cannot confirm or deny this. I think the conference call is more of a world drop, but to each their own. If you would like to hang around and farm Katagawa Jr., that conference call will be a great replacement for your Ferbert, and you can use that conference call instead of the Ferbert, and that'll carry you to at least level 28. And I'll say why level 28 in a second. So with these points, we're going to be putting them into Tempest. If you get an elemental conference call, that's just going to be boosting our damage. Just a side note, you really don't need any of these weapons. You don't need to stick around and farm for a conference call. You'll be fine without one. I'm just giving suggestions along the way of weapons to pick up if that's something you're looking for. So once we have more points in Tempest, max that out first because that'll always be good. Once you get Soulfire, we can put this on our weapon, on our action skill and Allure as well. That'll help group enemies. We're not going to be using the Eternal Fist. It's a fine skill, but it doesn't proc Samsara, and at the moment, Samsara is going to be what's keeping us alive. And now we only need to spend 5 more points until we are unkillable. So we're going to put these last 5 points. We're going to put 2 into Anima. At this point, you could respec, get rid of Infusion. Right now, I'm just going to show you that we'll put these 3 points into Wildfire. Once you're here, this is where you're going to want to do, if you haven't respec yet, haven't played around with other things, if you're sticking to this strictly, this point right here is when you're going to go back to Sanctuary and respec. So let's go do that right now. Alrighty, we're back in Sanctuary, and we're going to be doing our first respec. Now, one thing I wanted to say is while you're in Sanctuary, you're going to notice and get prompted to come over to Markets here. Now, money in this game is different than it was in Borderlands 2, in that money is now actually useful. So guns that you don't like and not going to use anymore, I'd recommend selling and saving your money for some sweet ammo upgrades and backpack space. For me, in my early playthrough, I prioritized my backpack space, I prioritized pistol space, and my first priority after backpack space was shotgun space. Depending on what you have and what weapons you're using, you can pick those, but I'd recommend shotgun space, pistol space, backpack space, and SMG space. So now that you are level 30, this is where the game is going to change for you. So at level 30, we're still going to be grabbing 3 out of 3 into personal space, 2 into clarity, 3 into Samsara. We'll be coming back here to get more health regen, but at the moment, we have enough points to get Fist Over Matter. Fist Over Matter is an amazing skill because it guarantees 5 procs of Samsara as long as the enemy doesn't die in it. So, we're going to be grabbing Tempest and Anima as our first things. At level 30, you should have some good elemental weapons available to you. So we're not going to grab Infusion. We'll be grabbing Wildfire, Dread, Deep Well, Indiscriminate, and then maxing out Wildfire. And now we have Fist Over Matter. Fist Over Matter is the game changer. It's a great looking skill. It's so much fun to use, and it's going to make you not only do a lot of damage, group a lot of enemies with Allure and Fire, but make you unkillable because you'll always have 5 stacks of Samsara. Now, as I went over in my build video, Samsara's duration is 20 seconds, and Fist over Matter's cooldown is 28 seconds, so we're going to have 8 seconds that we are able to die. And I don't like that. I don't like dying, you don't like dying, and I like laughing at my friends that die. So we're going to keep putting points into Clarity. Clarity, with this many points into Clarity, our action skill, Fist over Matter, is basically a no-shoot button as well. We're going to be wanting to proc it as much as we can, and as soon as it goes off cooldown, you're going to be wanting to grab something. But if you're low or something like that, as soon as you grasp with Fist over Matter, you're going to instantly proc that health regen, because the Samsara stacks can take a while to build up, and while they're building up, while the fists are smashing, you're already going to be regenerating health, which is going to help us stay alive even more. So now we're going to solve the cooldown problem. And if you notice in this tree, we don't have any status effect chance, but when we do apply a status effect, we're getting a lot of bonuses to one. So we're going to grab status effect chance with Violent Tapestry. The status effect chance is going to boost our damage because we're going to need less shots to proc status effects, and the more status effects we have going, the more damage we're going to be doing. So we're going to come over here, get Violent Tapestry, and once we have Violent Tapestry, then we're going to be able to grab our cooldown. Once we have 5 out of 5 into this, our cooldown of Fist over Matter is only going to be 21 seconds. Samsara is going to be up for 20 seconds, so there's only 1 second where you're killable. During your normal playthrough, you're not going to have any issues with this, and getting up to level 50, you're not going to have any issues with this. However, once we get to Mayhem 3, we can put some points into Helping Hands to give us that good damage reduction. And once we have enough points to grab 5 out of 5 in cooldown, we're going to respec again. So now you're level 42. You're going to hit your second respec. And the reason we're doing this is because now with cooldown, we don't need this health regen from Clarity that much. So we're going to grab Root to Rise. Root to Rise is amazing because it increases our max health. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's fine. Root to Rise is amazing because it increases our max health, and for every... Samsara is a health percentage-based skill, so the more max health we have, the higher the tick of Samsara's health regen is going to be. Also, during this, I forgot to mention this, but while you're leveling, you're going to be wanting to look for a class mod that has investment into personal space and into Samsara. I was lucky enough to have one dropped for me. Let's see if I have it. I don't at the moment. But that was giving me points into personal space. Borderlands 3 is different in that you don't need points into a class mod to be able to benefit from that class mod. The class mod will unlock the skill as long as you're able to get to that skill. So for example, if I have a class mod in Samsara, as soon as I put 5 out of 5 into Root to Rise, this next tier will unlock and I'll be able to benefit from that class mod. So for me, I had a class mod. If you're not so lucky, I'd probably put 3 out of 5 into here and then 2 into here. Right now we'll just go 5 out of 5, hoping you have a class mod. We're going to grab Samsara. So this is just the respec. Great. Violent Tapestry. We're going to get Restless again and Ascendant. So this is going to give us a bigger pull on our Allure. Still going to be using Fire. And now we have 9 points to spend. Those 9 points we're going to be putting into personal space. We have 6 points left, and we're level 44. Sorry, math. And who doesn't like getting a nice little treat? when they finally get level 50. So for this, while we're leveling, we're going to put these last 6 points into sustainment and that last point into forceful expression. Sustainment is great if we have hiding elemental weapons, and forceful expression is going to give us increased elemental damage, as well as infusion is a nice skill because we're able to proc 2 elemental dots. Once we have forceful expression, we can proc those 2 elemental dots without having to worry about a decrease in damage from infusion. So that's great because it's bonus damage and it's multiplicative. At this point, either I would recommend using fire or shock. If you want to unequip fire, you can just hit the Y button depending on what you're on, scroll over and hit unequip. It'll default to shock. So now we have bonus elemental damage, lots of lifesteal, lots of healing, cooldown all the time, and just a crazy amount of damage. As you transition into Mayhem 3, you may want to spec this out a little bit differently, putting more points into Helping Hands, less points over here. And if you are curious about Mayhem 3, you can check out my Mayhem 3 build guide. For now, we're finished. You're level 50. Congrats. I'm so proud of you. You did it. You're unkillable, and you picked a great build guide to follow. So thank you for sticking with me through the video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.